Welcome back to the Hotel Orloff, ladies and gentlemen. It is the first day of September 2024. We're here at the scenic and historic Hotel Orloff here in Rural Retreat, Virginia. This hotel was built 5 years before the Civil War. There's been a lot of visitors here in this old hotel. And now you are welcome here. And as darkness falls, as the shadows grow deep and black, the silent pall of history falls here upon the Hotel Orloff. Who dares to search? Who dares to see what walks in the night? Well, welcome to the Hotel Orloff again. This is episode 1034. And I haven't always lived here in Rural Retreat, Virginia. For over 40 years of my life, I lived in a town called Arlington, Texas, in the Metroplex, right between Dallas and Fort Worth. And moved there in 1976, just left a few years ago to take over this hotel. And I'll tell you, one of the first and most exciting things that I discovered when I moved there at the, what would I have been, about 12, the summer of 76, was an incredible mall called the Forum 303 Mall, right there on Pioneer Parkway. There was another mall called the Six Flags Mall, and it was a great mall. I had been in that mall before when we visited Arlington several years before, 1972, before we moved there, because my older brother was attending the University of Texas at Arlington there. The Six Flags Mall was great, but the Forum 303 Mall has magical memories for me, and probably for you because you clicked on this link. And there's only a couple of other videos on YouTube about the Forum 303 Mall, and they're videos I put up talking about the Forum Mall. No one else, it just doesn't seem like there's any footage of the mall on YouTube. I mean, there's some photographs you can find on Facebook, and but the mall kind of just lives in our memory. And for people our age, whatever generation they call us, better turn this music down, my wife's working upstairs. What is our generation? If you were born in 65, the generation after the baby boomers, I don't know. We grew up in malls, and malls were very important to us. Specifically, there was an incredible video arcade there at the Forum Mall called Forum Fair, with a vintage merry-go-round and all kinds of amazing video games. That was a great time. A movie theater, that movie theater played Dawn of the Dead every Friday and Saturday night. And George Romero, who made Dawn of the Dead, was aware when zombies come back from the dead, where do they want to go? They want to go to the mall because they have this vestigial, is that the right word, memory of that's where they wanted to go when they were alive. This is the mall, and they're still that, hey, we need to go to the mall, even though they can't even think. So that was I went to that theater a lot. I took dates to see Dawn of the Dead. I figure if they don't like Dawn of the Dead, I'd take them on the first date to see Dawn of the Dead as the midnight movie. So I figure if they don't like that, they're not going to get along well with me because I love horror movies. So and I met this other friend later. He said, I used to do the same thing. I'd take my dates to Dawn of the Dead at the Forum 303 Mall to test them out to make sure they were okay. They liked horror movies. Thinking back on it now, that probably wasn't the smartest move, but, you're kind of stupid when you're in high school. By the way, I was Arlington High School, class of 1983. Maybe you can put down in the comments down below that, what high school you went to. But anyway, if you have stumbled upon this channel because you're looking for your memories of your youth, I'll occasionally do videos about the Forum 303 Mall, but mainly this channel is, this hotel is a veritable pop culture museum. And that's what this channel is about, is memories of the past, growing up, the stuff that my older brothers were into, and stuff that even my dad was into, and even stuff my mom was into. This is a smorgasbord of wonderfulness. It's American culture. So we don't just talk about, I do a lot of talking about old comic books here, but that's not everything. I mean, man, as I always say, man does not live by comic books alone. There's also pinball and music, and I'm especially fond of monsters, because growing up in the 1970s, the monster craze was still going on. It was really at its peak from the late 1950s and all through the 60s, and Star Wars kind of killed off the monster craze. But, you know, if you, like me, share a love for music, for rock and roll, for, everything, television, movies, everything that used to be wonderful and now is, I don't know. In my opinion, the culture is kind of swirling down the drain, or, you know, toilet bowl, whatever you'd like to. This is my dog, Drusilla. Drusilla makes frequent appearances on this show. Hello there, Drusilla. And my wife is upstairs. She's doing a work-from-home job today. And so I got to be a little quieter, so I might want to turn down this music here. Let's see. I'm waiting on David Wilcox going to go live in a little bit, so that's very important. But let's go upstairs. Well, I don't know. Where do you guys want to go? Anyway, I'm trying to recruit subscribers here on this channel. But everybody keeps unsubscribing because I say I like Donald Trump. You know, can you believe there are people that don't like Donald Trump? It's just flabbergasting to me. But it is apparently true, because every time I mention how wonderful Donald Trump is, I tend to lose 2 to 5 subscribers. But I'm trying to recruit an army, the Gratu Army, and I've been recruiting it. So I've been on YouTube, I don't know, more than 5 years, maybe 6. No, I think it's 5. Oh, don't let me exaggerate. What is my mission down here? Okay, well, sometimes the sound isn't very good on this channel, so I bought this expensive microphone to help with that. Anyway, Forum 303 Mall, man, oh boy, was that a great experience. The Forum 6 theaters, there was I loved the bookstore there, which was called Century Bookstore. Am I correct? I'm pretty sure I'm correct. There was G. Sanders Books that was kind of like it, but I think that was the one that was in Pantego. Man, I don't know. I don't know, man. I've slept since then. But when I first moved to Arlington, Texas in 1976, I just couldn't believe my luck. There was a wonderful magazine stand and racks of comic books there at that Century Bookstore. The Piccadilly cafeteria was fantastic food. Fried chicken, mashed potatoes, a roll, pumpkin pie. Helen Gallagher's, the Gag Gift Store. There's stuff all around here that was purchased in Helen Gallagher's, far superior to today's modern Spencer's Gifts. In fact, this little sign was bought at Helen Gallagher's. Now, I'm not a drinking man myself, but this actually didn't belong. This was given to me, my older brother, the one that went to UTA. He had this in his dorm room. You know, they used to make these signs back in the 70s. They look like old-time Western signs. It's from this company. Can you make that out? Oh, man, my eyesight's gotten worse. Wallace Berry and Company, Van Nuys, California. I used to make these signs. Yeah. Oh. This is my older brother, Steve, the guy that I'm talking about here. He passed away. And I have another brother named Mike. That's about what they look like, maybe about the time we moved around. Perhaps you knew them. But Mike's still around somewhere in South Texas. I have not heard from him in a few years, and I don't like that, but, you know, what can I say to you, ladies and gentlemen? So anyway, I'm over here in Rural Retreat, Virginia, and we're happy here, out here in a rural town. It's like the Andy Griffith Show. And oh man, what am I doing? Getting ready to go upstairs. Oh, Drew the dog, what are you up to? So, oh, I see what she's up to. Not good. So, here, as I said, the upstairs are where the guests stay here at the Hotel Orloff. But down here on the main floor, we have a pop culture museum. In other words, this is what I call the Monster Corner. It's also called the Batman Room. Some people call it the Batman Room. I call it the Monster Corner. But there's so much Batman memorabilia in here that a lot of the people that stay here at the Hotel Orloff call this the Bat Room. Not the bathroom, but the Bat Room. Logan's Run played at the Six Flags Mall Theater. It didn't ever play at the Forum Mall. Oh, well. Anyway, so how are you guys doing? It's the first day of September, and what is it? September 10th, and a few days. Next Tuesday, I believe, will be the big debate between Kamala Harris and the dog is eating a turd that she took from the kitty litter box. So, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to divert from our, I'm sorry. Sometimes, shut up, son of a... Pardon me. I stubbed my toe. Drew, you can't eat cat turds, man. It's not sophisticated, man. It's not normal. Perhaps do you want some real dog food, Drew? I mean, this is just un-American what you're doing here. We're always busy here at the Hotel Orloff. Okay. Drew, she went down to get more cat turds, man. Come on, Drew. I knew when she was going down to the basement, she was up to no good. So how are you guys doing? Hopefully you're not eating cat turds, but with the economy the way it is, perhaps that's the most economical way to eat nowadays. Die. But you could talk it down in the chat below. You can talk whether or not your dog eats cat turds also. That would be a wonderful thing for us to discuss. My goodness. Anyway, I love the Forum Mall. Did I love growing? Well, Drew, you went down and got another. Did you get another turd? There's actual food. What are you doing, Drew? I think she's got a turd in her mouth. Drew, there's real food over here. Drew, there's real... You got kitty litter on your nose. It is clear that... God damn. Oh, can you believe? It's unbelievable. I just cleaned the kitty litter. I better clean it again. Of all the things, can you imagine? You know that song, that Connie Francis song, Lipstick on Your Collar? Her song will be... kitty litter on your nose told a tale on you. Kitty litter on your nose showed you were eating cat poo. Bet your bottom dollar your cat poop eating days are through. 'Cause kitty litter on your nostrils told a tale on you. Okay. Okay. While I'm down here, I need to change the battery in the smoke detector. But I need to get a stool to do that. In fact, I'm going to do that now. I know you came here probably to see comic books, but I got things to do, man. You guys are invading my space, man. I got things to do. I don't have time for you YouTube people. Dang it. Where is the stepping stool? Well, anyway. It's got to be around here. Okay. That was a horrifying thing. But I'm going to... Any grains of kitty litter, let's vacuum that up here. Man, that was disgusting. Look at this space age vacuum cleaner. That it really is cool. Because look, you can detach the... Show you what I mean. Come on. Okay. Look at this. It's like it's like something from Lost in Space. It's like a super anyway. I'm fascinated by modern technology. This is from from Dyson, producer of fine vacuum cleaners. Okay. Now, if I could find the step stool. Anyway. That dog's got a big shit-eating grin on her face. Literally. She's got a big smile on her face. It's like, man, you couldn't stop me. I gobbled that turd down, man, and it was good. Oh, man. Just when I try to do an entertaining television show, everybody's got to keep bringing me down. Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. What happened? What's the matter?
I thought I heard you yelling.
No, if I was yelling, it was because Drew was eating a cat turd.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm filming a show. No, it's okay. I got good footage of her with kitty litter on her nose. So it's kind of, I was saying it's like that song, Lipstick on Your Collar Told a Tale on You. That's my wife. Apparently I just yelled. Did I just yell? I have to replay this tape. So she was worried about me. So there's one person that cares about me. Well, there's more than one. What am I talking about? My dog cares about me. And my cat. And a lot of other people, wonderful people that I work with and stuff. And there's some friends I have on the internet that I've met through YouTube or wherever. Okay. I don't know how I'm going to get up to that smoke detector. Let me see if I can reach it. The problem is I'm going to have to move a Space Invaders machine to get to the... I know, it's first world problems, right? People over there on the Gaza Strip aren't worried about, how am I going to reach that smoke detector that's beeping? But anyway, I'm assuming that Duracell will work in this smoke detector. We just moved here a couple years ago, and I've never changed a battery in this smoke detector. And down here in the basement, my goal has been, to create a vintage arcade. Since they tore down the Forum 303 Mall, my goal has been to recreate the Forum 303 Mall in the Hotel Orloff. So, therefore, you know, I've got things like Space Invaders, and if you're as old as me, you remember Boot Hill. That was like the beginning of, but see the smoke detectors up there, which I can easily reach. The Boot Hill is on wheels. It'll move over. Actually, I don't need a step ladder. Oh my gosh. So how are you guys doing, ladies and gentlemen? Doing well, I assume? Okay. All right, I'm not... you gotta figure out how to change the smoke detector. My friend Dr. Fibes will be proud of me for changing this. I was worried about him because his channel disappeared off YouTube. Well, it's still on YouTube, but he took, well, he said he said it's okay. He's gonna rebrand his channel. And oh my gosh, this thing's not even mounted very well up here. In fact, it's not chirping anymore. It's been chirping for a long time. Okay, come on, man. Come on, man. How do you do this, man? How does it? Oh, it's just up here with a nail. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's still chirping, I think. Okay. That was nice of my wife to be concerned about me. Oh yeah, so it looks like this inside, guys, if you've never changed the smoke detector. You're learning something today on today's Garage Orloff show. Oh man, do I smell. I was out there mowing the yard, but luckily this television show is not in smell-o-vision. Okay. Okay, we got it out. And, ah, shit. That was loud as effing F. I guess that sound means it's okay now. Let's see if it still chirps. Oof. It's still chirping. What? Is there another smoke detector down here? Where's the other smoke detector? I might have changed the wrong battery. Let's see what's the date on this battery. I can't read anything. I might have changed a perfectly good, but I don't know. The other smoke detector, oh, I bet it's this one. Is this the one chirping? Let's see. This one doesn't even have a battery in it. I don't know what I'm doing, man. Why would it still chirp if I changed the battery? This is un-American, man. Is the smoke detector in here? There's no smoke detector. Oh, I still have DVDs over here. Where's that chirping coming from? Oh, maybe it's this one. I didn't know there was one here. Okay. Ah, shit. Okay. Excuse my language, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Oh, there's Astro World. That was those of you that grew up in Texas watching this video. Remember well, I never went to Astro World, but it was in Houston. Six Flags Over Texas was the amusement park that was basically down the highway from Forum 303 Mall. That the other mall, Six Flags Mall, was named after it. Okay. It's probably going to make a loud noise when it connects. Watch. Come on. Come on, man. Come on, man, as Joe Biden said. Arr. connected. I don't know if that's made contact or not. Maybe. I don't know. Well, let's see if the chirp stops. Because the chirping is horrible. And very depressing to live in a place where it's chirping all the time. It's okay, I haven't heard a chirp yet. No, that was a Chick-fil-A. There was like an amphitheater in the Forum 303 Mall. And I never heard anyone pronounce Chick-fil-A. I'd never heard of a Chick-fil-A. And so I thought it was Chick-fil-A. I was mispronouncing it for years. Isn't that something else, ladies and gentlemen? Hold on, I'll go up to the comic book room in a minute and show you some wonderful memories. But first, yeah, I'm not hearing the chirping now. I actually feel like I've done something responsible on this Labor Day weekend. I fixed the chirping problem. It's been really driving me nuts. I feed the cat down here in the basement, and this is also where I brush my teeth every night. And well, every time. Anyway, so I'm always, last week I've been very depressed by the chirping. Sorry, I'm cleaning up some pet vomit, if you're wondering what I'm doing. You don't want to see it, trust me. Oh, I need to put some records up too. I got stuff to do, man. Why are you guys even here? In fact, you guys are just annoying me, man. What's wrong with you? Don't you have things to do? Why are you here? Okay, I'm just kidding. You guys have to understand my sense of humor. It offends some people, but I'm just trying to be funny. My wife says I'm not as funny as I think. Whoops. Although she says I'm kind of funny on my show, but in real life, when the camera's not going, I'm not funny at all. But she says, why can't you be like the person on the Orloff show when you're... But I am. She just doesn't. Okay, she doesn't get it, man. Okay. I got to work on this basement, man. I have not heard the chirp. Have you heard the chirp? I think we found... That's weird how the one smoke detector does not have a battery in it. That must be the one that's wired to the ADT security system. And the other two are just independent smoke detectors, you know, bought at the hardware store. I suppose. Anyway, lately, in recent episodes, I've been organizing these DVDs, and this is just a fraction of my DVD and Blu-ray collection, but I've been trying to get this done, and oh, there's my magnifying glass that helps me read. Okay. Now that I've accomplished the task that I felt was very imperative to do, we can move on. If you're nostalgic for the 1970s and Forum 303 Mall, you might remember, oh, the toy store that was at the Forum 303 Mall was called Toys by Roy. And it had the greatest, well, it had this kind of thing. Like, they had a lot of Corgi toys and a lot of little metal cars. But you might remember board games, and that's what kids played before there were video games. And the Starbird, I think that was bought at the Skaggs Albertsons. And this I bought before I moved to Arlington. That was bought back in San Antonio, Texas. We moved a lot when I was a kid. My dad was in the Army. This Planet of the Apes mask was my childhood mask. But again, that's purchased from San Antonio. Anyway, Star Wars memories, of course. And like that. So many memories here, like the corners of our mind, because we have square heads, right? Okay, so let's get some records put up. I'm still moving into the house, still unpacking, even after we've been here for a couple of years. And so I've got a big mess here, but I've got 4 50s, well, one of those, a couple of those are 1940s pinball machines. And over here I've got 3 1960s pinball machines, but I got all this stuff I'm trying to organize on top of them. Oh, I guess I should move the boot hill back. Remember this game? Powering up. There was an arcade also at the Six Flags Mall. I forget what that arcade was called. It was kind of hidden. You had to go down a long corridor and turn, and then they had the arcade. And I think that arcade predated the Forum 303 Mall arcade. Oh, maybe the Space Invaders isn't plugged in. Let me see here. Yes, it is plugged in. Why is it not turning on? Well, that's not good. Is there an on-off switch on the top? Possibly. I forget where the on-off switch is. You get to see this game in Dawn of the Dead. Okay. Okay, what's going on here, ladies and gentlemen? Let's see. What is wrong? wrong with you? Oh, I see. Hold on. Oh. Okay. Oh, there's an on-off switch. And is that what that is? Well, uh-oh. What did I just do? I messed that up. Oh, man. Good. Let's empty out this dehumidifier while we're here. It's not something you need back in Texas, but here you do. Well, I'll continue trying to figure out what's wrong with this Space Invaders, but that may be something beyond my knowledge of fixing. Okay, let's move some of these records. Something I've been meaning to do. So down here, I have cabinet with where I've been storing records for decades. And these aren't particularly amazing records, I don't think. Oh, well, here's a good one. Mel Brooks' Soundtrack to High Anxiety. But it also has music from Young Frankenstein and the theme to Blazing Saddles. It's kind of a greatest hits album. So that goes in there. What other records are in here already? See if there's anything fantastic for you to see. Now, this band, I know they look like a bunch of hippies, but they were a good band. Asleep at the Wheel. They were in the style of Bob Wills. That's a mid-70s record there. Let's see. There's some good ones down here. Actually, there's some pretty good records down there. Well, this is a band called Doug and the Slugs. I'm trying to remember. They were a band, kind of like a novelty band. I don't remember them too well. Okay, just a Creedence Clearwater Revival, a greatest hits deal. Oh, what is this? The Anita Kerr Singers. Wow. Velvet Voices and Bold Brass. This kind of sounds like the commercials, the way commercials used to sound. So that's fun. Oh, the Norman Luboff Choir, The Sounds of Christmas. This, and this is still has the original shrink wrap on it, but we'll take it off because it looks kind of horrible. This is also a Christmas record that I got for 99 cents at a thrift store that used to be, the thrift store on 303 Mall that used to be Skaggs, Albertsons. It's now a Merry Christmas from Lawrence Welk. I got a bunch of Christmas records there for $1 each. And that's the same place, that supermarket is where my parents got that Starbird that I just showed you, that spaceship, for Christmas of 1978 for me. Okay. Yeah, no chirping, man. I'm so happy I fixed the chirping. Chirping can really get on your nerves. Well, this may be the worst episode ever of the Garage to Orloff show. I'm not really probably very entertaining. We've changed 2 smoke detector batteries. We've cleaned up some poop. And we've discovered that the cord to the Space Invaders machine is defective and we need to get it fixed. Here's Cruisin' 1958, Cruisin' 1959. These are recreated, kind of like radio ear checks from that year. They got DJs that were on the air back in 1965, and they have old commercials and everything to make it sound like a radio broadcast, except on those records, they a lot of times it's not the original song, it's a re-recorded version, and it's terrible. And this, when did this... I have a vague memory of this happening. This is a movie called Mondo, New York, and this Kirsty MacColl record were damaged by water, and I don't remember how that happened. I think it might have been this horrible plumber we had back in Arlington that flooded part of the house. Bill Black's Combo. Oh, this is great. It's the best of the Cowsills. Look at that great Jack Davis art. This is the band that the Partridge Family was based on. You know, they got a mom, and the kids are the band, and it was the Cowsills, which is a type of bird, and the Partridge Family, they just, you know, I'm sure they wanted to use the Cowsills in a sitcom, and then they couldn't, so they made a fake band and gave it a bird name, and it's a family, and... But I don't know. I don't think there was any lawsuit. I don't think you could sue, just the idea of a family band. All right, what do we got here? B.W. Stevenson, I have no idea who he is. Lead-free. I don't know. I don't even think I've ever put this record on the turntable. He looks like kind of an idiot. I don't know why this record's in my collection. But there it goes into my cabinet. I don't have any idea. I cannot explain it. Oh, yes, I do know why. There was this fellow co-worker that was getting rid of all his records from the garage, I think on order from his wife. And I bought all his records. He was older than me, so he's buying records in the 60s and early 70s. And I bought his whole collection for, I think, $99 or $100. And there was stuff in there that I don't know. B.W. Stevenson includes Shambhala. Shambhala was, I thought that was a hit for Three Dog Night. Maybe this guy was in Three Dog Night. What do you know about B.W. Stevenson? Maybe he's great. It's just everybody back in the 70s kind of looked stupid. Here's the Greg Allman tour. Yeah, these records came from his collection, 100%. That's why I didn't even recognize that record. And probably a lot of these records I'm putting in are from his collection. Oh, he was a nice guy. I liked him. And I bought his record collection. Okay. Here is very early. Let me move back here. You're sitting on a bed. That's why the camera is vibrating so much. It's a mattress. You know, this is a very early Bill Cosby record, produced by Alan Sherman, the guy that, you know, hello, mudda, hello, fada, here I am at Camp Granada. Anyway, it's a live concert. Always liked Bill Cosby. Personally, I think he was framed for political reasons, but I don't know. Maybe he was doing horrible things. I don't know. Oh, it's a Dionne Warwick. I hate to think that because Bill Cosby was such a big part of my childhood, from his comedy records, Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. He was on the Electric Company. I don't want to think that he was a bad guy, but, you know. Teen Idols. These are a bunch. These are the Frankies, Frankie Avalon and Fabian. You got Pat Boone's even on here. Bobby Rydell, Everly Brothers, Bobby Darin, Conway Twitty, It's Only Make Believe. That's a great record, man. Great, I tell you. Okay, I remember buying this record, The Sound of the 60s. This is got a bunch of records. It's got a big booklet in it, too. It's got like a big magazine in it. I forgot about this record. And it shows all the, like, French 45 RPM. I bought this at Metamorphosis for $16.99. That was expensive back in the 80s. Metamorphosis was a punk rock record store there at Fair Park. And there was a cool antique store next to it named Millennium. And then there was Metamorphosis. And that record store later was bought by this friend of mine and became Direct Hit Records. This is... anything on Command Records is going to have great stereo sound. It's persuasive percussion. It's a Treasury of Greek Mythology. 6 Presidents Speak. Four Corners of the World. Oh, this is a Juan Esquivel record. He's great. He makes music that is fantastic. What do we got here? Little Feat. This was from the collection I bought. I don't know much about Little Feat, but I always remember there was a record by Little Feat that had this girl by a pool, and she had like a Daisy Duck head. I always thought that's a cool album cover, but I don't know much about them. This is the Three Sons. They're another great mid-century ultra stereo bachelor pad kind of thing. The Things I Love in Hi-Fi. Dreamtime by Paul Weston. That, I wish I had pulled these price tags off earlier. They're going to be hard to pull off now. That's all from that same thrift store. Okay. The dog is here. What are you up to, dog? Don't be doing nothing wrong around here, man. Okay, so more records. What is this garbage? I have records that I just don't know why I own. It's Drew, over there on that. Okay, this record's not in a sleeve. 20 dynamic in O. Yeah. That's not my record. Thai Brothers Quartet, and I don't know what that is either. Yeah, this is stuff that's not even mine. Oh, shit. Okay. In fact, some of these are laser discs here. Pretty sure. Oh, okay. What do we got here? It's Rolling Stones. Let Me Touch You, the Bob Crew Generation. Oh, this is a whole box set of Leslie Gore. I've always been really into Leslie Gore's music. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting stuff done today. And, whoa. You're still recording. Okay, fantastic. Well, there was an old building downtown, and they opened up to sell the stuff that was in the building because they wanted to turn it into a gym. And apparently back in the 1990s, it had been a store that, they had all those 90s stores that sold baseball cards and stuff. And they also were renting VHS cassettes. And they opened it up, and they have all these things they were trying to get rid of, and they were still in the shrink wrap. So I got a 1996 Power Rangers calendar. Remember when the original cast of the Power Rangers? It was really a Japanese show called Zoo Ranger, and they brought it over to the United States and altered it, and they used the original fight scenes, took out some of the violence. But then they shot new footage with American actors whenever they weren't in the suits. It was originally they were all a Japanese cast, and then they made These are called Sentai shows. They're called 5-man team. Every year in Japan they have a different Sentai show from Toei Studios, and they always have a pink one that is the girl. But in the original Power Rangers, they made this one, who is a guy. It's a guy in the suit. When he took off his helmet, it was an Asian girl. They just wanted to have 2 girls in the American version. So that's actually a guy. So just so you know, there was a bunch of these for sale. These they're thick cardboard. I don't know what they originally were. They don't seem to be part of a calendar, but, in the 90s, the X-Men cartoon was popular on TV, so they're kind of like ultra blown up. They're dated 1993. I guess they're meant to be framed and put on kids' walls. There's Wolverine. They're, they're meant to be bought by kids that were fans of the Saturday morning X-Men cartoon, which has now been brought back, and I'm sure it's inferior like everything else that's brought back, but that's when the store was in operation in the 90s, and that's what these are. So, and then this was the Young Blood 1996 calendar. That was a comic book, and I think Young Blood was turned into a cartoon on Saturday morning too, or was that... It might have been a different thing from this same comic company. I think it might have been Wildcats, actually. But this sums up everything about 1990s comic books. I bought this because they were selling them for $0.25. Yeah, and I thought, oh, wow, unused calendars. Oh, here's Beverly Hills 90210. This is the 1993 calendar. I thought Shannon Doherty was beautiful back then. It's a shame. She got sick. She just passed away recently. But, you know, I thought I don't know. People may disagree. Your mileage may vary. But the thing is, old calendars, don't throw them away because they can be reused. It's like, let's see if today is September 1st. It's a Sunday. Let's see if this calendar can be used this year. Did September 1st fall on a Sunday? No, September 1st fell on a Wednesday. Every 7 years you can reuse calendars, so I save them all. And it looks like I bought a second copy of the 1996 one. Ooh, look, it will work. Although the calendars we're already in September, it's almost the end. See, September the 1st is a Sunday, so this Power Rangers calendar could be used for the next couple of bits. This is a Kiss. The reason it's not in its sleeve is I had the actual album jacket framed on my wall because I like the painting. What is this here? Oh, these are framed ads from World War II magazines that I got from a Militaria store back in Arlington. This is War. This was part of that collection I bought. And this ELO record was from his collection too. I've always loved Electric Light Orchestra, but I never had this album growing up. But look at that. It folds out. And look, there's a poster in here that's never been put up on the wall. Well, it's not that interesting a poster. They really were a wonderful band, but they were kind of funny looking, especially the main guy. But he was a genius, you know. He was great. It was like almost like, you know, the Beatles were gone by the time Electric Light Orchestra came out, but they were almost turning out stuff on that level because Paul McCartney sure wasn't anymore. Or a Paul Simon record. Which one is this? Mother and Child Reunion. Yeah. Mother and Child Reunion. Someone was telling me that that's about eating breakfast. What was it? Like chicken and eggs or something. It was the Mother and Child Reunion because the chicken and eggs were being eaten at the same. Is that what it was? Something like that. I don't know. People don't eat chicken and eggs together, do they? I don't know. There's some pun with the Mother and Child Reunion. Here's Miss Pat Collins, the hip hypnotist. Okay, well, fantastic. Are there more records out there, or is this it? Hold on. This is Wonderland of Golden Hits, Andre Castellanets. You know, I bet that David Wilcock's already gone live. I need to go downstairs. Here's Huey Lewis in the News. I mean, I guess it was okay. There's ZZ Top. Okay. These are not from my collection. This is not from my collection. Just trust me. These all came from the collection of the gentleman whose collection I bought. Not that I don't like them. This is also from his collection. This is from his collection, although I already had a copy of it. Was this from his collection? I think I have this Everly Brothers. Let me see here. Okay, this is my stuff now. Yeah, this is the Everly Brothers reunion from 1984. These are my records. So this Bill Haley record. This is American Top 40 from Casey Kasem. When that played on the radio, they would send records to the radio station. So this is the American Top 40 from May 5th, 1973. And so this has all the hit songs from that part of 1973. And it has all the commercials in it, too. So the radio station that paid for that would get... This is Tony Orlando and Dawn. There's some... this I must have gotten at a thrift store because I don't even remember owning it. This was my dad's record, the Mills Brothers Greatest Hits. This one I got at a thrift store, that same thrift store. I remember buying this David Bowie record. That's from the early 80s. And John Lennon Rock and Roll, that's him trying to get back to his roots. That must be from the guy's collection. This is Live Stiffs. I don't know if this was in my collection or his. I just don't know. Okay, fantastic. Well, I'll just put this stuff in here too. Oh, wow. How are you guys doing, ladies and gentlemen? Doing well? There's some cool stuff in this cabinet here. Let's see what I can find. Oh, some art from John Goris, who's a viewer of the... Oh, and he sent me this postcard, and I realize now I can just... The post office puts these stickers on it over his painting, but then I realized later I can just peel them off, and I'm going to peel that off to preserve the actual art underneath. He keeps telling me to send him some stamps, and he'll send me postcards like every week. But I keep forgetting to go to the post office and buy some postcard stamps. Because imagine getting a painting like this every week, like a subscription, just for the cost of stamps. Yeah, John Goris is a great... And you need to subscribe to his channel. He works all day long. He draws and does animation. And he puts all his animation free on YouTube, and it's great stuff. I have a whole file of his artwork, but this is stuff that wouldn't fit in that file. Look at this, the art of the Blind Dead. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. And here's a Star Wars one. I did a painting of him of R2-D2 and C-3PO, and I also did a painting for him of the Blind Dead. He's really into those Blind Dead movies. Here's another thing he did of the Blind Dead. He loves skeletons and that kind of thing. Great stuff. What else is in here? I keep meaning to frame this. I guess my friend Meyer lives in San Francisco. I guess Kron TV, K-R-O-N TV, still around. This is when Shock Theater was first came on. Screen Gems released the Universal horror movies to local stations as a syndicated package in 1957, and they became huge ratings hits because the stations that bought them and all the Frankenstein, Dracula, Wolfman movies, Mummy, where they were sold as a package. And then local stations would show them late at Saturday night, and they would get a local guy, maybe the local weatherman on the station, to dress up like a ghoul or a monster, or they might, might be someone from the station, some secretary would dress up like a ghoul vampire woman, and they would host the movies. And that was what the most famous, still today, horror host is Sven Gulli. And then we had Elvira a few years back. But back then, Vampira predated the monster boom of 57. She was on LA TV in the early 50s, and there really weren't that many monster movies released yet to television in the early days. So she just ran more like mystery movies. But when these movies started being played on TV in 1957, kids went nuts. And the monsters became huge, and that's, you know, why the Monster Mash was a big hit, and Famous Monsters of Filmland magazine was started around that time. And all through the 60s, the monsters remained huge, and even into the early 70s when I was a kid. So this is stuff that I intended to frame, this great ad. What is this here? Okay. There's all kinds of stuff in here. Here's a little flying thing. It's a flying eyelid. And these are all the different ones that you could get. What else is in here? All kinds of stuff. Oh, this is one of my favorite bands of all time, the 5, 6, 7, 8s. And this is a TV guide, like a TV guide, sort of like it's a TV guide imitation, but when the Addams Family was on the air. Look at that. I don't remember ever seeing that particular prop in the TV show. Look at the painting there of like a Mephistopheles guy. Yeah, you get to see the actual colors of the set because obviously the show is in black and white. The only other way to see Addams Family, the set in color, is to get the Viewmaster reel from back then. Look at this ad on the back. It's pretty cool too. I probably should take this upstairs. I don't know why this is down here. Oh, wow, I'm finding some neat stuff in here. Some of these, some wacky package posters that should be framed. Man. Oh, boy, did I love wacky packages. If you're my age, you remember wacky packages. You can see these were folded up into a little tiny pack that you'd get at Stop and Go or 7-Eleven, and they unfold to this pretty huge poster. Man, I'm happy to find these. What else is in this? That's nothing. It's ridiculous. Oh, wow. This is a TV show I used to work on, and this is an original flyer that was put around in different stores for the Hypnotic Eye. It says on TCI cable public access, it's the Hypnotic Eye. And this is drawn by Joe Riley, the guy that started the show, that created the puppet and everything. I was doing a magazine called The Sophisticate, and Joe said, I want to do a show on public access. That's what people did before YouTube. They made shows on the local cable station, and they gave you studio time and whatever. And so anyway, this eyeball puppet was called Icon, the show that delivers visual satisfaction. On show 1, see Jackie Chan's visit to Dallas, lots of kung fu fighting, a visit to forbidden books, and lots of other nutty stuff. Fridays, Saturday nights at 11 p.m. on cable channel 25B. So the second show, I went to the public access studio with Joe, and everything in the second show was my footage, and I told him where to put it. And so episode 2 was pretty much mine. But episode 1 and just about every other episode were all Joe. And he used some of my footage, and I helped out with the early episodes, and I was the voice of the Donny Osmond puppet. Here's another flyer, and he made a little puppet that you could cut out. You know, I could make copies of these for anyone if you're a big fan of Hypnotic Eye. But this is original memorabilia. Oh, Meyer Greenblatt just sent me a message. Oh, he's talking about the astronauts that are stranded up there. Here's a big giant postcard you could get back in the 70s. This probably actually goes back to the 60s. What is this dated? I think that says 1961, but they printed so many. They were selling these all through the 70s. It's like Texas saying, we take up most of the United States. Here's some, I'm a big Addams Family fan. These are some, I blew this up from a little tiny Addams Family postcard and made it into a poster that I had laminated. This is from the Addams Family game. And I need to hang those up on a wall somewhere. I don't even know what's down here, man. I don't know what's in here at all. I need to make a survey of everything in here. Wow. There's some cool stuff. Man, what is all this? Wow, 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 wow. Pictures I need to frame. These are, you know, Vampira. There's Noreen Corcoran. She was on, what, Bachelor Father. She was even prettier than Shannon Doherty. My wife doesn't agree that Shannon Doherty was pretty. Look at this, Spaceman. This might be one of the astronauts that's stranded up there in space right now. This is Myrna Loy. This is, man, I forget. This is one of those early horror hosts reading famous monsters of filmland. As soon as I stop recording, I'll remember what this guy's name is, but it's just not coming to me right now. But it's before my time. All of these are things that should be framed. Myrna Loy is obviously really cool. Here's Gronk the robot. Oh, man, I'm so glad. Look at this. Anne Frank in school writing. Isn't that cool? That should be framed. Here's a picture of my wife. That should be framed. And a picture of Vampira. That should be framed. I still have a few inches of space. There's some space on these walls that doesn't have stuff. Like over there, there should be pictures there. And look around this, over there, there's space. Look at all this space there. I just got to get picture frames. And you know what? The Dollar General is the only store in this town. And they don't really have frames, really, too much. Oh, look at this. It's an original poster for the Terminator. That was such a great movie when it came out. We couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe this movie was so great. We didn't expect it when he went in. Who thought it was? No one knew it was going to be that good, man. This is from 1956. This is mail from a guy that ran one of those old spook shows. The Dungeon of, it says, I was just in the Dungeon of Death. This is addressed to Mr. Pat Patterson of Catatonia, North. Pat Patterson is the guy that made, he was like an associate of Herschel Gordon Lewis, I think. I think he made a gore movie called, yeah, it's slipping my mind. Herschel Gordon Lewis made better movies than Pat Patterson, but he was somebody. I need to research that. Unfortunately, the envelope got crunched. Oh, what is this? What is this? That's what, oh man, it's, oh shoot. It's an original. Don't ever use rubber cement. This is a original of a fanzine I did back in the 80s, and it's all turned brown and fallen apart. Always use Elmer's glue when you're making fanzines. Of course, no one makes fanzines anymore. Lots of stuff in there. This was a theater that we loved, the Granada Theater. And it was on Greenville Avenue in Dallas. And it, in the mid-80s, every night, it was an old-timey theater. They had double features. Sometimes they weren't double features, but usually they were. Like, let's see. Like on this night, October 17th through 18th, they had The Monkey's Head and A Hard Day's Night. And I think we went to that. Sometimes they would have Three Stooges festivals here on November 12th. They have Dirty Harry and Magnum Force. And, you know, the original uncut version of Caligula on that night. And then The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai with Clockwork Orange. How's that for an interesting double feature? Gone with the Wind. They have Life of Brian with Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And they were original 35mm prints that you'd get to see. This is kind of like what Quentin Tarantino does now in Los Angeles, plays the old movies in 35mm. Of course, there was nothing digital back then. Here's this night, they have Fritz the Cat and Heavy Metal. They would have a Three Stooges festival that went for 3 hours. Then the next night, it would be 2 John Wayne movies. And the next night, it would be, I don't know, The Wizard of Oz or something. It was always interesting there. And the thing, it was run by a guy named Bob Neal. We knew this guy. He was a movie poster collector, and he also collected movie trailers on 35mm film. So let's say, like one time, we went to see the 1966 Batman movie at the Granada Theater. And I think it was with The Monkey's Head, okay? So you go into the theater, and where the one sheet is, there's an original 1966 Batman one sheet. Lobby cards, all the original lobby cards. And then you go in and there would be lobby cards or an insert for a few dollars more because next week that Clint Eastwood movie was going to play there. And so he would have all the original paper. That's what movie poster collectors call it. They call it paper. He had it all there. It wasn't reproductions. It was just like you were in a time machine. And then before the movie, you would see trailers for upcoming movies, and they'd be the original trailers that you would have seen back in the 40s, 50s, or 60s, because he just had it in his collection up in his loft. Pretty great stuff. Man, I got all kinds of stuff here. Why is this not framed? It's a spook show poster. House of Horrors. You know, the thing is, we moved here, and my life was fully disrupted, and then I'm still in the process of unpacking and don't even know where everything is. And it's like I can't, it's just, I don't know. That's really nice. That was my parents. Oh, look at this. This was for, this was a book cover that you were supposed to put on your school books, but it's done by Basil Wolverton. Instead of Hit Parader, it's called Hip Parader. And luckily this one was never used, but it's meant to cover up your math book or whatever. And I don't know, I must have gotten this on eBay. I don't really remember how I got it, but I'm just happy I've got it. Oh, you cover the book and then you just throw the book in the trash. It's just a little bit of anarchic humor from the mid-60s. Let's see what's in this drawer. Lots of cool stuff in here that we're not going to look at right now. But if you want to see it later, oh, here's some old tabloid newspapers in here. I didn't know these were down here. This one's got Nancy Sinatra on it. The National Tattler, this is from March 3rd, 1968. Is Nancy hung on Dean Martin? Ooh, that would be bad if Nancy Sinatra, Frank Sinatra's daughter, started going after Dean Martin, his friend. That would be bad. Oh, boy. Apparently Peter Fonda was troubled. I can't even say that word on That's not good. Oh, some of these magazines are not really family friendly, shall we say. Oh, look at this down here. Oh, wow. This was part of my childhood in San Antonio. It was a store called Josky's. This is a little box lid from Josky's. My mom was always shopping at Josky's. Look at this, a checkbook. This is not my checkbook. I bet this is my mom's checkbook. It sure is. This is kind of depressing. It has my mom's name, and it says guardian for, and that's my granddad. He wasn't so she must have had her own checkbook because she was writing checks for my granddad because he was, back then they used to call it senile. I don't think they use the term senile anymore. Because you notice they never used that term with Biden. Oh, wow. I found some cool stuff in here. Look, it's my FOOM. This is the envelope when you subscribe to, when you join the Marvel fan club. I joined, probably late 1973. This is the FOOM fan club, and right there in the Hulk's mouth is where you would, they put your address. And I lived on Portrait Court in San Antonio, Texas at the time. There's the little Marvel. Yeah. But from that same time period when I lived in San Antonio, the same company that made Wacky Packages made these wanted posters. This is the Garbage Man poster. And the Librarian. I knew I still had these somewhere. I just didn't know where they were. Look at this, the candy store owner. These would be folded up. See this little square here? That's how big the pack was, and it would unfold to the big poster. And I've stored them flat for, 50 years. Wanted for enticing a riot. School flirt. Now, my friend Kevin Johnson, who runs Gotham City Comics, one of the finest comic stores in the United States of America in Mesa, Arizona, tells me that later on, when they did the Garbage Pail Kids, they would put these wanted posters on the back of some of those Garbage Pail Kids. Wanted for bribery. The teacher's pet. Oh, see, here's where you're supposed to write in the name. Wanted for disorderly conduct. Then you'd write in your sister's name, kid's sister. See, that's how probably a lot of fights got started. Wanted for aggravated assault. And you write in your dad's name. And then you'd put it on your door to your room. And see. Wanted for causing a public nuisance. Kid brother. Wanted the butcher. Here's wanted the barber, also known as the butcher. Wanted for hoarding, the cheapskate. Man, this is, that's Jack Davis art on the TV Repairman. Oh, I've got two of the TV Repairman. Because you buy these in little packs and you didn't know. Some of these look real familiar because I think I had duplicates, and I had duplicates hanging up on the wall. Looks like I got 3 of the father ones. Oh, and if Mike McCarthy is watching this, this is a poster that I think I put together for when he premiered his movie Damselvis in Dallas. And then the band Fireworks and Ovaltines performed, and it was, yeah, I remember that. Anyway, interesting. Who would have thought all that cool stuff's in there? Okay, hour and 30 minutes, really? Well, You know, someone was just pointing out that, you know, plastic is made from fossil fuels, right? So when the real reason that G.I. Joes started to become this small instead of 12 inches is because the price of oil went up, right? So, you know, the gas embargo in the 70s, so when they made them again, they made them a little tiny. Well, so if plastic is made from fossil fuels, and fossil fuels come from dinosaurs, someone was saying, then that means that plastic dinosaurs are dinosaurs. They're actually made from dinosaurs. So that's an interesting way of looking at it, because I have tons of plastic dinosaurs. So this is my childhood Allosaurus model from Aurora, which I always thought was based, that this Toy Story dinosaur was based on that model kit, because it just, something about it, which I've had since 2nd grade. So, let me pick up this battery. I actually accidentally dropped on the floor. I don't want the dog chewing on a 9-volt battery. I don't know if that would go wrong. Well, I don't hear any chirping down here. I'm so pleased with myself. I've actually fixed a real problem. Oh, look at this, man. You know what this is? This is a Burger King Frisbee. I don't know how good that's going to show up on camera. But it's glow in the dark. Not Burger King. I'm sorry, Burger Chef. Burger Chef. You see, you can watch the commercials on YouTube. Incredible. Do you see the little guy and then the chef? That's the actual Burger Chef. They had the coolest toys that they gave away at Burger Chef. It was better than Burger King, but it's similar to Burger King, and the hamburgers were charbroiled, but this one says 1972. This is not my childhood one. I don't know what happened to that. I had one of these in 1972. I think I bought this on eBay. But let's take this. I'm holding it right up next to the light. Let's take it somewhere where it's dark. Let's go in this closet here and see how well it glows. Is it glowing? Well, it's too much light, man. It's like 12 o'clock noon as I film this. Anyway, this is something wonderful. I'll put it down on top of Frankenstein's head. Okay, so yeah, well, I have tomorrow off because it's Labor Day. Das ist gut. There is no toilet paper in this bathroom, so let's get a roll of toilet paper, ladies and gentlemen. And let's start recording David Wilcock. David Wilcock is someone I find very entertaining. Oh, Drew, you look lonely up here. All right. So, let's find David Wilcock. I record on the DVD-R. I like to record things. I record stuff off YouTube. My wife thinks it's very obsessive compulsive, but I keep saying someday YouTube will just disappear and then you'll regret not recording all of these cool things that you have access to now. But it's probably just nuts. Oh, he's already on. So I got to rewind him. He's been on for how long? Let's see. About half an hour.
Son, how many times do I have to tell you?
Oh, yeah.
Just keep on screwing up over and over and over again.
Okay.
I have had it.
He's doing a little comedy routine at the beginning. He does this. He's usually on every Sunday afternoon. For years, he was on very frequently, and then he went through a time where he got a divorce and stuff, and he didn't. But now he's back every Sunday afternoon. He does a live show. I think he's going to take a vacation here coming up where he's going to do some pre-recorded shows. But I'm glad to see he's back. He's one of those interesting metaphysical ancient aliens kind of cool guy, but he's on the right side. You know, he's for Trump and everything. So he's fun to listen to. He's got just a fun guy, man. Well, I hope you've gotten some entertainment from this afternoon's episode. I've shown a few things that I've never shown before on this channel. And if you're interested in that kind of stuff, let me know down below. And next time I need to change the battery on a smoke detector, I'll remember to bring you guys along with me. Yeah, so the Forum 303 Mall. What memories it brings back. Every time I think about the Forum 303 Mall, I'm going to start mentioning it on this show. Wait. Something about a ADT payment alert. I don't know what that's about.
I think we are building up to some big moment here because the Alliance has just created a titanic amount of slides this week. It took me 3.5 hours to put them together last night.
Oh, this is going to be a long show. I kind of want to watch this, but I figure I should give you a little bit of content before I come down and watch it. And I'm going to have to rewatch it with my wife because she's busy working now. Oh, here we go.
I don't really want to do shows anymore. I'm kind of just here because I have to be here. It's like, oh my God, another one. My life is just a treadmill. I do this every freaking week. I have no time at all. I'm just always.
He's complaining. Oh shoot.
And I'm just grasping at days, and they just fly right past me. A week just flies right past me. But the reason why. Man,
that's depressing. I need to stop complaining about doing the show while I'm doing the show because that doesn't come across well, does it? But I'm doing it as to be amusing. I don't know. I think he really is. Everybody's. Hold on. Let me get upstairs and I'll tell you what I really think. Oh, those of you watching from Texas, look at all of my cowboy stuff. Oh boy. Well, we gotta be quiet while I walk by my wife working, because I don't want to disturb her. But I couldn't shut the door. Okay. I'm going to close these doors so that look at this little magazine called Your Hair. Doesn't that look like a girl from Star Trek? Isn't that beautiful? The girls on Star Trek, the women, I should say, were, I really love the way they did their hair. Anyway, so we're back in the incredible comic book room. All right, back at the Forum 303 Mall in Century Bookstore, there was a comic book rack just like this, ladies and gentlemen. And I remember getting a copy of Star Wars #1 from a rack just like this.
How about that? A bottle that opens without a bottle opener. It's Lucky Lager's new lip top bottle, and it opens easy as that. Pull the tab on the cap and pop. There's your Lucky. Here.
What a mess this room is in.
In the blazing desert sun, no others dared to do it, so there could be only one. Just one that passed the killing grind of sun and wind and sand. The test that proved this new car wax the finest in the land. Turtle wax, turtle wax, turtle wax. Reader's Digest tells the story of the amazing
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
that kept cars' colors shining bright even in fiery Death Valley sun. Just one waxing of turtle wax with new sunstone.
Okay, so what is this garbage? Oh, last time I was up here, I did a show where I was looking at my X-Men comics, and hardly anyone watched it. So people say X-Men is real popular now, but couldn't prove that from my show. X-Men. What is this box? Oh, I see. Excuse me. I wish people would tell me what they want to see, what's interesting to them, so I would. Okay. Okay. Still have all my Mad magazines out. What's over here? Here's some good magazines. Erie Publications, Skywalk. One of the loyal viewers, Emsh, was asking to see these, I think. Let's see what's in this magazine, this box. Well, there's Tales Too Terrible to Tell, Terrorology. This reprints, maybe I should put this over here. This reprints pre-code horror stuff, which this came out in the, 1993. But right now, currently, pre-code horror comics are really hot. Now, pre-code horror comics were a brief shining moment in comic book history where comic book horror comics were really truly horrifying and really pushed a lot of boundaries, because 1945, the world, World War II ends, and these guys are just out of the army, and they're comic book artists and writers, and they go back to their career, and then the editor says, we need to have some rotting zombies rising from the graves, some corpses, some people getting ripped apart, and they say, okay, they remember what corpses look like, so they were able to draw from their own experience in the war and draw that readily, because these were guys, and maybe in the early 30s, in the early 50s, when these horror comics were at their peak, and they could draw all that stuff from memory. And they weren't, maybe they didn't have kids yet, so they weren't worried about scaring little kids or creating nightmares. They were just saying, yeah, this is fun. And so, horror comics today, the artists know gore from seeing it in movies, but when the guys knew it from seeing it in real life, things were even more horrible. Anyway, it got pretty far. It went pretty far to the point where a Senate subcommittee was formed about these violent comic books. They had crime comics and horror and other stuff. And so the comic book industry got nervous and started a self-censoring regulatory board. And that's why that little white stamp was on the corner of every comic book when we were kids, and that it conforms to their standards and it's not going to be too bloody and all that. But if it was a magazine, you'd still have all the blood and gore. And this is from May of 1977. The same month that Star Wars came out. But you never saw these on the news. Mostly you didn't see these at the newsstand. These were just at the sleaziest. The only time I ever saw something like this was like when I went to Lone Star Drive-In in San Antonio. It was, yeah, most newsstands weren't going to carry these books from Erie Publication. Not to be confused with Erie Magazine, which is the companion of Creepy. Those were more accessible, but this company went further, and mostly what they did is take old stories from the pre-code horror days from the early 50s and either redraw them or add more blood to them, or when they redraw them, it's like you take a story from the 50s and draw a pair of bell-bottoms on the guy to make it look like it's now the current fashions to fool the kids into not realizing it's actually just old art you're reusing. But this company, Erie Publications, This is Horror Tales. I've got a lot of these, but these have become trendy to collect. It used to be I'd go to a comic convention, someone would have a stack of these, and it would just be me and some other guy with a Ramones t-shirt on, digging through these desperately, trying to get as many as we could. But now normal comic book collectors are really wanting these. But back then, we were the cool people at one point. We knew this stuff was outrageous. Here's one that's not in the bag and board, and the only reason for that is finances. I'm not a rich guy, and someday I'll get all these books bagged and boarded. It's possible, but you know, I don't know if that'll ever happen. At least it allows you to see the inside of these magazines. What you could get a King Kong poster, a whoopee cushion, World's Ugliest Hands.
Our overhead storage makes carry-on luggage easy to take, and there's even a fold-down middle seat for more workroom. Free stereo too.
They always advertised you could get a Raquel Welch pillow. I never saw anyone that had one, but boy, the see behind glasses, that's an interesting idea. This one's from June of 1973.
I like pepperoni, but it doesn't like me.
Now, when they called this magazine Tales from the Crypt, they pushed the limits too far, because Tales from the Crypt was still owned by William Gaines, the guy that was doing Mad Magazine. And anyway, so they had to change it from Tales from the Crypt after that one. I think they got a cease and desist letter real quick, so they changed it to Tales from the Tomb. I think I'll end this episode about at the 2-hour mark. So let's see how many of these we can see between now and in the next 7 minutes. See, this art is not reused art from the 50s. It's clearly 1970s art, but this looks like older art that's been modified. And there are people that have written whole books that tell you where the art was stolen, how it's changed. There's people that have gotten very obsessive about these magazines, and kind of recently. And they put out whole hardcover books about these magazines. And I think it's kind of comical and neat when stuff that's this kind of stuff like this that parents would have thrown away and gotten very mad at you for owning is treated in a scholarly way and respectful way now. It's just it's amusing, you know. Mom, you know those magazines you threw away? Look, here's a whole coffee table book about them now, and now they're worth money. I don't know. But, you know, you can see why, you know, I never got in trouble. I never bought these magazines when I was a kid because I never saw them. But I would have trouble, like, asking my mom, can I buy this magazine? I don't think, it's not a... I love monster magazines. See, this is definitely 50s art. You can just tell. And I'm not knocking it. 50s art is great. But you can just tell when it's older art. And then, you know, this one's May of 1969. So that artwork was only about 15 years old. And so it may not have looked as jarringly different then. Here's March 1974, Tales of Voodoo. They're looking like they're trying to... This kind of looks like an issue of Dracula Lives a little bit. I mean, it's not painted as well. Dracula Lives was a Marvel horror magazine. I mean, there was Creepy and Eerie and Vampirella from Warren magazines, and then these were in competition with them, but you could barely find these ones. And then Marvel started doing horror magazines with Dracula Lives, Vampire Tales, Monsters Unleashed, Tales of the Zombie, Haunt of Horror. There were a bunch. And then they had Savage Sword of Conan. That wasn't a horror title, but it had monsters in it and supernatural stuff, sword and sorcery. And then there were other companies doing it too. There was Skywald, and I think some of these are in this box. I love these 1950s commercials. It's just, that's, when I was telling you some of those records downstairs in the basement sounded like old commercials, it means that the singers sounded like this, you know, like the Anita Kerr singers and stuff. Did I already show you this? Stay out of my grave. Yeah, this is a magazine that just begs mothers to want to throw it away. There's no socially redeeming value about it at all. It doesn't make any pretensions like in this issue, an adaptation of a classic tale by Edgar Allan Poe. They're not trying that. They're just giving you the they're not trying to have any pretensions that they are high class. This is probably one of the most notorious of the covers of this line. This issue of Terror Tales. This, I mean, it's so horrifying. You imagine. And there's a company that makes posters of these, and this is one of the posters they've got. I've got one on hold at Gotham City Comics, a poster set of these. And I haven't bought it yet. I need to, but because I don't have enough stuff on my walls. It's next I'll start on the ceilings. There's another one. Look at that. Kamala Harris. Yeah, that debate is a week and a day from now. I wonder if you're watching this episode in the future, I wonder how that's going to go. Will it go as badly as the Trump-Biden debate? Kamala Harris wants, you know, when Biden debated Trump, he made the stipulation, I want the microphone of the other guy turned off. Like when I'm talking, I don't want Donald Trump to be making noises or commenting. So he said, you know, and vice versa. Well, Kamala Harris is now doing the opposite. She says, I want Donald Trump's microphone live the whole time that I'm talking, because she's hoping Donald Trump will dare to interrupt her or say something mean, and then she can turn it around with her pre-scripted response that she's already written. How dare you interrupt me, you evil man. How dare you interrupt me, a wonderful woman that, you know, powerful woman, you know, that's what she's wanting to do. Stage it, you know, and get that moment on TV. Did you see this cover? Isn't that fantastic? Terror Tales. Here's it. I think I showed you that one. I can't remember which ones I showed you. This one I definitely didn't show you. Look at that. That vampire in the middle that's green, that's definitely taken right from a... You could tell they were using Barnabas Collins as a photo reference on that. Yeah, this is a little too 1970s, these commercials here, but... yeah, I've always loved these magazines, but now they're getting to be too high dollar for me to maybe ever finish my collection. This is from October '66, and they would reuse this artwork. They would, like this art would be reused. It's like a vampire bride for Frankenstein. That was October '66. This is a year later, October '67. In May of '69, this is good. You know, right from around the time of Woodstock. The hippies are being portrayed as evil and horrible. And that's probably how the older men that are probably about my age that made these magazines back in the '60s perceived the hippies. And of course that was around the time of Manson and everything, so they probably perceived accurately. Wait, I thought I'd already shown you these. Wasn't I already on to the Weird magazine? Oh my God. Didn't I show you this one already? I can't remember. They're all so good, but there's something I can't remember anything. Oh, see, this one we saw it before, but it's altered. I think they flipped it around or something, and the other one, this is a closer up version of the same painting. They would continue that. This one's June '70. They would just steal from themselves. Look at that, man. This bat and a cat mixed together. I have 2 copies of that issue. How about that? This one has 30 cents written on it from some long ago garage sale. And by 1981, they're starting to put spaceships and exploding planets because, you know, Star Wars had come out by that point. 81, Star Wars and Empire had already come out, and we were waiting for Return of the Jedi, and so they had to put space stuff on them. And see, we've seen this girl before being stabbed, and it's being reused. Let's see. I'm getting hungry, man. I'm getting hungry. Now, this issue of Weird Worlds from February 1971, this one's not a really bloody cover, but this one I found where this is from. It's from some European paperback or something, so they just got that painting cheap. It's very strange for them not to have blood or something like this, you know, as their cover. This one is from July of '73. Okay, I'm getting sick and tired of this music, man. I got it. 270s, man. This is better. Okay, March of '74. This is November 73. This must have been from the same garage sale. It's got 30 cents written on it. Can you imagine only 30 cents, this kind of entertainment? Oh, neat. I'm finding some good stuff. The same company put out a Western magazine. This is Great West, right? It's got a date stamp, September 17th, 1968. So what is a Western magazine gonna be like from the same company with all these gory covers? Well, let's see. Like this. Okay. This is Web of Horror. Now, recently, there's another book that's on hold for me at Gotham City Comics that reprints this whole series, but this is the only one I've got that's original. Web of Horror. It's kind of a legendary magazine. This is not from the same company. This you can tell the art is classier here, but this is a. This is a magazine from the late 60s that has a lot of artists that were just, this is from December 69, and a lot of artists that were about to become big names, like Bernie Wrightson, you know, basically the Swamp Thing guy, and the 70s. Well, around this time, House of Mystery, and he was doing DC horror art. Bernie Wrightson's kind of known as a horror artist, but look at this, Frankenstein Monster Mask. I don't know, I'll have to ask Kevin if the book if it reprints all the ads in it. I hope it does, because the ads are all part of the wonder of these monster magazines. But the art in here is very good, and it's being done by these young guys that are, who's doing this? Very, very nice. These are artists that are just about to make their break into the big time. And oh, I remember this is a comic art contest. You're supposed to draw into that space. What are they running from? You have to draw in what monster is causing these people to run in fear. Everything you think is guaranteed. When the sun goes down and the heat rolls around, I've got Pabst Blue Ribbon off on my mind. Anyway, this is now available. You can get the whole run, which I think is only 4 issues, maybe 5, in a hardcover book, collecting those. And the Web of Horror. I would either call up Kevin Johnson at Gotham City Comics in Mesa, Arizona, when he's not open Sunday or Monday. Tomorrow's a holiday anyway, but he's open Tuesday through Saturday. And usually when I do live streams, he appears, and you could just comment in the chat and talk with him. But he could order that for you. If it's not available, I'm sure it's probably still an imprint. This magazine is from another company called Skywald. And Skywald was, they were more, you found these at the newsstand. Those Erie publications were hard to find. I saw these Skywald mainly at the Base Exchange, the PX, whatever you want to call it, because my dad was in the Army and we went to shop at the PX all the time. And you could always find these Skywald magazines. This one, Hell Rider, is the same guy that would later create Ghost Rider for Marvel Comics, the motorcycle Ghost Rider, not the cowboy one. And so Hell Rider, some people consider this to be a prototype for that, for the Ghost Rider character. So this book has some collector appeal beyond just people that like monster comics, because, you know, Ghost Rider people. The same company put out Nightmare and Psycho, and those were longer running magazines. Here's Psycho. You see it, the covers are comparable with what Warren was doing. Here's a Boris Vallejo cover. It's the stuff that was being done on Eerie Publications was shocking and insane and lurid. It was like stuff you'd see at the carnival, painted on the outside of a dark ride or on a freak show banner. It was more extreme, and it was wonderful, but this is a truly great painting. They would sell replicas of old movie posters. Here's another issue of Hell Rider that I don't have. I think someone's reprinted these issues of Hell Rider. I don't know if they were authorized. I think all this stuff's in public domain, and there are people that sell copies of these books of these that they've just shot from the magazine or something. There's even an article about, you know, Monster magazine, you know. And then this is Ross Andrew, Mike Esposito doing The Heap. Now, The Heap was the original swamp monster that dated back to the 50s, maybe or late 40s. The early Mad comic book from EC Comics even did a parody of this Heap character. But in the 70s, there were a bunch of swamp monsters. There was Swamp Thing and Man Thing that came out right about the same time. Kind of like Addams Family and the Munsters started the same week on different networks. It's hard to say one was an imitation of the other, although the Addams Family was based on a comic strip that, not comic strip, but a cartoon and that had been around for decades. Anyway, this is good stuff. Really, Warren always felt like it was the best, but these were fun too. I fondly remember seeing Psycho on the stands. But in those days, I had to ask my mother, "Can I buy this?" Yeah. And she'd usually say no. And occasionally, she let me buy one issue of Psycho back, you know. But usually these were things I just saw on the newsstands, and I bought these copies later. Most of these are not from my childhood. In fact, I don't think anything I've shown you in this box was bought from when it was new. Here's another copy. This one feels kind of slick, like it's not in perfect condition. This one, I remember 100% seeing this on the newsstand, and I've always loved this painting. It's just so beautifully colorful, and I didn't buy it at the time, but I bought this copy later, and I always loved that. Would be a good poster on a wall. All you got to do is take it to like a Kinko. We don't call it Kinkos anymore. FedEx. They won't copy it for you. They'll say it's copywritten. It's in public domain. You just put it down on the glass yourself and blow it up to 11 by 17, and then frame it. It'll look cool. If you want to have a high class, you know, my decorating tips are not necessarily going to make you a hit with your wife or anything. State Farm.
If your car is acting funny or it just won't go, the weather transmission is the place to know. At 320 Oakdale, they really do care. If you can't make it, they'll tow you there.
It's the special all-ghoul horror issue.
All you have to do is dial 698-1011.
I've shown you all these before, but I assume that people watch every episode, and in all reality, people don't. So this one is the one my mom let me buy, but I don't know where that copy wound up over the years. So this is one I think I bought later. I don't think this is my childhood copy. But for some reason, this one, when I asked her could I buy it, she said yes. Maybe she turned it over and saw that, oh, Edgar Allan Poe, they teach that in school. Yeah, this magazine would like, yes, this issue we have an adaptation from Edgar Allan Poe. They would play up the literary angle to fool people.
Do you know the best Frankfurt in every way? Yes, it's awesome.
Anyway, sometimes you would see they were using photo references, like that's from a Dorian Gray movie. They just had a photo of that and they stole that. But they're the paintings. I mean, they're real paintings and everything. It's great. Psycho. One of the cool things about the Warren magazines is they had wonderful ads in the back for all kinds of monster merchandise. And these magazines would have ads. Oh, look at that. But that's Pablo Marcos. He was a great artist. They'd have ads, but not as many. And I think that's one of the reasons I didn't like these as much as the Warren magazines. It's like there's an ad, but hardly any ads. I know it's weird for someone to want to buy a magazine for the ads, but you know, it's one of the, you know, people watch the Super Bowl just for the commercials, and these monster magazines, those Warren monster magazines had great ads. I love these covers where they would show old issues, and you know, it's a cheap way to make a cover. You don't have to pay any new artist fee. There was Psycho. And then their other magazine I forgot was called Scream. And this is a cover I dearly remember. August of '73. That's the summer before 3rd grade. I remember seeing this, and I saw it all across the United States because in August of summer of '73, we were traveling from Virginia to San Antonio, and every time we stopped at a store on the way, I saw this wonderful cover. Scream, Scream, Scream. I loved it. And I didn't get it at the time, but now I have it. Here's another Scream. I should get more of these, but, you know, what can I tell you? This is their other magazine, Nightmare. They were putting out a lot of competition for Warren. I'm sure Warren said a few choice curse words about it because they had the whole market to themselves, and all these imitators came along, and this one had pretty good artwork, you know. This is the weird creeping death issue. They never say that on Vogue, do they? There's the vampire beast stalks out of heck. And then there was another company, Martin Goodman, the publisher of Marvel, retired, and he expected his son, Chip Goodman, to become the new publisher. And instead, they took Stan Lee and put him into that position. He was so pissed that they didn't put his son in as his successor that he said, to heck with them, I'll start my own new comic book and magazine company, and I'll call it Atlas, which was an old name of Marvel. So he started a comic book and magazine line, and this was from his line, Weird Tales of the Macabre. The line it didn't even last a year. It didn't work, but it was, what was weird is he even hired Stan Lee's brother, Larry Lieber. Stan Lee's last name is really Lieber. He hired him to head up these monster magazines. And it's like, I don't know, will that make for fun? Or sitting around Thanksgiving dinner with your brother? It's like you've been hired by your enemy to run, to be a rival, at a rival company. You know, I don't know. I'm sure they worked it out. Who knows? Larry Lieber also was a good artist. Did I mention I'm hungry? I'm going to finish this box. Then I'm going to tell you guys to buzz off, man. I think I already showed you this one. Didn't I? I don't know. This is... Damn, this is in bad condition. This I bought in December of 1970, so this would probably have been bought in October of 70. This is my childhood copy. It's not in very good shape. There's a piece of paper falling off here, but this is 100% something I got when I was, 5 or 4. I remember getting this in Heidelberg, Germany at the magazine store, at the PX, whatever, and it's just, it wasn't as cool as getting a Mad magazine or anything. This is a hot rod mag. I remember this. I don't know how it got all this water damage to it. It's like, I don't know how that happened. This one was, I bought later, Drag Cartoons. And then this is a Big Daddy Roth magazine from October, November '64. This is from before I was born. I've always loved Big Daddy Roth. But I met Big Daddy Roth at a car show, and I got him to autograph this, even though it's not his artwork. It's a caricature of him, painting a shirt, and it says to Kenneth, Big Daddy Roth. And this is from November of '63, which is, the year that the Kennedy thing happened. Although that would have been out 2 months earlier, so that really would have been out in September of '63, because comics are always dated. Oh, this is my birth month, April '65, but that means that this really would have been on the stands February, right? So that if I wanted to get an issue of cartoons that was on the stands the day I was born, it would have to be dated June of '65. That's just one of those things you got to think about. Ooh, this would have been on the stands when I was born, June of '65. Yeah, how about that? Completely self-indulgent television program, like you care when I was born. I was wondering when these magazines, there's a bunch more cartoons magazines in here. What else is in here? I don't know if you want to see these other magazines. Here's a mid-1970s magazine that R. Crumb did. Yesterday was his 81st birthday. It was a magazine he put out, Arcade. Cartoons. I don't know if you care about these magazines.
Whoever heard of an airline that goes around the world twice a day, every day?
Yeah, man.
Whoever heard of a Parisian restaurant when you were 30,000 feet?
Man.
Whoever heard of an airline with stewards?
I don't know.
50 different countries?
My childhood. I love that stuff. I don't know what. What can you say, ladies and gentlemen? It's the Forum 303 Mall is a wonderful mall theater. Love that movie theater. Well, grace be unto you and peace from God the Father and our Lord Jesus Christ. Let us pray. Lord Jesus Christ, please help our nation. Please help people to make the right choice, and please help our country to be led in the right direction. Please help everyone watching this show, well, everyone, not just the people watching the show, but everyone have better lives, and please help us to be in the best health and to make the right decisions. Please help my wife Cleo to feel better and to be in less pain. Please help our country to make the right decision and go in the right path. In Jesus' name, amen. we're gonna need to say prayers at the end, and maybe the beginning of every episode from now on, and I'm not joking. We're living through historic times, and it's just, I don't know, having these silly commercials playing in the background probably wasn't the most appropriate way to pray, but I think that it'll be okay. I think that'll be all right. So I was looking for this microphone for yesterday's telethon, and it was up here the whole time. Okay. Man, well, I hope you guys are doing great. And, oh, here's something else that was bought at the Forum 303 Mall. This was also in my brother's dorm room. Welcome to our friendly group. That's, I'm almost positive he bought that at Helen Gallagher's, right there near the amphitheater in the Forum 303 Mall. Well, I don't know. I guess it's almost Halloween, right, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, this is the store that you need to patronize, Gotham City Comics. And Kevin, if you're watching this, if you're in your store Monday, that would be tomorrow. I'll be off, you know, because normally I work from sunrise to sunset. Yeah, give me a call, because, yeah, I wanted to look through some stuff. But if not, I'll try to call you when I get home from work on Tuesday. Tuesday. Another sign from Helen Gallagher's. Yeah, I'm looking around for stuff that might have been purchased at the Forum 303 Mall. There's no telling, man. Oh, I gotta empty the water in this dehumidifier. Okay, incredible. Well, see you later.